Maybe. But you don't know where to begin. You have come to the right place. As you listen to the bright side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on the bright side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. Okay. All right. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you. We want to be your go-to source in all things health and nutrition. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Don't forget to ask about joining the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself, help pay it forward, help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. If you've benefited from nutritional supplementation in your personal life, or you know somebody who's benefited, or you want to just get your products at the wholesale price, call 866-735-2470 for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself. You could be a longevity distributor, or you can click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All right, welcome back to the Bright Side. Had a little technical glitch there, but we're back live, talking about the nature of illness as it specifically regards toxicity. That's where we left off, talking about the nature of toxicity. And one of the really cool things about the body is the body cleans itself. It detoxes itself. And not only does it detox itself, but it detoxes itself in association with building and repair. And so the same nutrients that are involved in the building and the repair and the growth process are also involved in the detox process. And when you're detoxing, you're enhancing building and repair. When your body is clean, building and repair is enhanced. And the same biochemistry is involved. The same biochemical representatives, the vitamins, the amino acids, the minerals, the same biochemical icons, the same biochemical prerequisites that are involved in building and repair are involved in toxicity. Building, or anabolism, we say. And anabolism means building as opposed to catabolism, which means breaking down. And this whole idea of anabolism and catabolism, building up and breaking down, is the key to understanding disease, health, anti-aging, youthfulness, beauty, strength. All the things we love about our body is a function of the relationship between anabolism, building, and catabolism, breaking down. So important, because that really demystifies health. It makes us more powerful at that point once we get that the only things that go wrong in our body are the things that make us more catabolic, make us more breaking down, make us net break down. It's kind of like a business. If you have a business, you're either in the black or in the red. It doesn't really matter whether you're spending money or you're making money. You could be making $1 million a year, but if you're spending $1 million, $1,001, you're now in the red. You're minus $1. Your bottom line is minus $1, even though you're making $1 million a year. Now, if you're making $10 a year and you're only spending $1, now you got $9. You're in better shape than the millionaire, the $1 million business that's spending $1,001,000. It's the bottom line that counts. It's not what you're spending and what you're making. And in the body, likewise, it's not the building or the breaking down. It's not the anabolism or the catabolism. It's the net. You want to be more building than breaking down. You want to be more anabolic than catabolic. You want to be net anabolic. Bodybuilders understand this very well. Bodybuilders are complete. And by the way, if a bodybuilder is really doing something, we should all be thinking about it or paying attention, because health is bodybuilding, really. So bodybuilders understand this net anabolic versus net catabolic equation, or formula, I should say. And they're highly focused on being net anabolic. Well, guess what? We should all be focused on being net anabolic, on focusing on anabolism, and it's not that difficult. It's basically good stuff in, bad stuff out. The good stuff fuels the anabolic process. The bad stuff fuels the catabolic process, or it blocks the anabolic process. It's basically that simple. And nobody wants us to know how simple this is. That is, when I say nobody, the powers that be. The entrenched establishment that makes the money off of our stupidity, or maybe I should say our lack of understanding, because we're not stupid. Nobody ever told us this. Nobody ever talks about this anabolism, catabolism, the simplification of health. We all learn that we need to be medicalized. Even, and this has kind of been getting my goat lately, this is sort of a pet peeve of mine, is Bernie Sanders and the politics of free medicine, the politics of free healthcare. You're going to start seeing this. There's going to be free healthcare, and it's just another way of empowering the powers that be and disempowering us. Yesterday we talked about vaccines a little bit, and I don't really get into vaccines too much because it's just so rude and offensive, and I don't really like talking about negative stuff. But we got to acknowledge what we have to acknowledge. We got to take responsibility for understanding our bodies ourselves. It's not complicated, and I know I'm preaching to the choir because you're listening to this program. You're one of the elite out there, the tip of the spear, as they say, that's listening to this. Everybody's got to be listening to ideas like this, if not the bright side. I don't know anybody else is talking about it, but this idea that health is simple. That's the message here. That is the silver bullet. Health is simple. Good stuff in, bad stuff out. And by good stuff in, bad stuff out, I'm talking nutrition. I'm talking food. I'm talking thoughts. I'm talking emotions. I'm talking spirituality. I'm talking all the dimensions of health. Good stuff in, bad stuff out. Don't overthink. Smart people suffer from overthinkitis, is what I've noticed. That's the really big disease, overthinking. We overthink. Keep the system clean and put the good stuff in from a physical perspective: food, nutrition, and oxygen, and water. You could probably throw that in there too. And don't forget to move. Don't forget to exercise. When we move, when we exercise, we trigger the anabolic process. Movement and exercise tell the body it needs to grow. If you're an older person and you're frail, you got to be moving. You're not going to be growing. And if you're trying to take an osteoporosis drug, a bisphosphonate, those nasty, 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 on the top 10 list of anybody's nastiest drugs there are the anti-osteoporosis drugs. If you're taking one of those things, Boniva or Fosamax, you're way better off doing some resistance training, with some nutritional supplementation. Drugs, the logic of using drugs is just if you understand this anabolic, catabolic formulation, the logic of using drugs defies, there is no logic. It defies belief that anybody would think, a medical professional could think, that you could get better by taking a drug. It just blows me away every time I think about it. So anyway, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, things like cysteine, sulfur, vitamin C, they're all involved in both anabolism building and detoxification, and it all is about the cell. That's really the key right there. It's about the cell. The reason we don't hear about it is because the medical model cannot address the cell. The cell is the locus of life. It's the locus of health, and it's the locus of non-health. It is the center. When we're not healthy, our cell is not healthy. And I say cell, even though we have 100 trillion, because as you treat one cell, you're going to treat all the cells. So if you try to target one cell, one little lonely cell with the good stuff, you'll take care of all the cells. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we do have lines open, and we'll get your calls in our next segment, 844-236-6010. First come, first serve. So get on board early. The phones fill up, the boards fill up Sometimes they fill up. Sometimes they don't fill up. And they're empty right now. So anyway, 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. 866-735-2470. If you want to purchase longevity products, 866-735-2470, or go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We got news stories, blog posts, videos, lots of good free health information. I never understood why people think you could sell information. It just doesn't seem fair to me to sell information. Sell products, but information isn't yours. So we give out all our information at criticalhealthnews.com, videos. I do presentations, of course, this radio program. Everything we do for free because information is free. Empower. It's been said that knowledge is power. So this is about, when we give out information, we empower, we energize, we raise the frequency. If I could go a little hippy-dippy here. That's really what we're talking about, making people better, making the world a better place through information. Now, information's been said as power, knowledge has been said as power, but it's actually not. It's potential power. Knowledge is potential power. Power comes from action. So you really got to take action. That's what wisdom is. Knowledge is just knowing stuff. Wisdom is knowing how to act on what you know. So, yeah, we give great ideas here, but you got to take advantage of them. And the good news is if you start to take advantage of the simple little things that we talk about on this program and that we have on our videos and blog posts, et cetera, that are all out there, the good news is your body cannot help but get better if you do just certain little simple things. It's not that complicated. Anabolism, catabolism, building, breaking down, focus on the cell. The cell doesn't need a lot. The reason we don't understand, or I shouldn't say understand, but leverage the power of the cell is because it's not medical. It's nutritional from a biochemistry standpoint. I mean, it's also thoughts and emotions, but from a purely chemical standpoint, it's about the cell. And from a purely chemical standpoint, it's not a drug. It's nutrition, and it's oxygen, and it's water, and it's the things we could do ourselves that aren't part of the medical model. And that's why they tell you there's no cure for your disease. There is no cure for disease. Don't wait for the cure for cancer. Don't wait for the cure for Alzheimer's. They have a vaccine now for Alzheimer's. Forget it. That's just a way of mucking up your body even worse. A vaccine, really, for Alzheimer's? The plaques in Alzheimer's are a sign that the brain is breaking down. It's catabolism. Upon catabolism, you get fibrosis. Upon fibrosis, you get an ossification or a solidification of the body. All disease involves these factors. Involves attack, toxicity, inflammation, fibrosis, solidity, calcification. It's all the same stuff. It doesn't matter what name you call the disease. And it all starts off at the level of the cell. And understanding how this cell does its livingness, the cell is sitting in an ocean to what it is to it an ocean. It's not an ocean, it's fluid around it. And this combination of the cell and the fluid around it, and by the way, this fluid is magical fluid. It's not just any fluid. It's structured fluid. How cool is that? You got a cell, you got structured fluid around the cell, and you got structured fluid in the cell. And this structured fluid around the cell is what feeds the cell, and it's what electrifies the cell, it's what oxygenates the cell, and it's what detoxifies the cell. And it's this interaction between the fluid, gel, structured, liquid system and the gases and the sugars and the vitamins and the minerals and the amino acids. They're all in that area, and the drainage system. That's how we get healthy, and that's how we don't get healthy. That's how we get sick, and that's how we return back to health. We clean the system out, the ocean that the cell's swimming in, or we support the cleaning. We don't clean it, we support the cleaning. And we support the nourishment. When a cell has abundant resources, this is why supplementation is so helpful. When a cell has abundant resources, it feels comfortable enough growing and dividing and healing. And when it doesn't have abundant resources, it shuts down. This is part of evolution. This is part of adaptation, I should say. The adaptive response mandates that the cell will shut down when it doesn't have nutrition or oxygen or when it's toxic. It's an adaptive mechanism. However, the opposite is also true. When it's clean and got lots of vitamin C and lots of amino acids and lots of B vitamins, it's like, yeah, baby, let's get going. Let's grow. Let's repair. Let's make collagen. There's nothing that medicine can do here. It doesn't matter because we don't need medicine. pharmacy and surgery and all of these things. We spend far more on healthcare in this country than any other country. Most expensive insurance, most expensive drugs, most expensive hospitalization. And now it's going to be more expensive, but we're not going to know it. It's going to be sneaky expensive because it's going to be insured. The government will insure it. Of course, where's the government going to get the money? They're not going to take it. They're not going to take it out of something they're spending now. It's going to be taxed. It's going to be a tax on it. So we're all paying for this. We are all paying to entrench the medical model if we don't take care of ourselves. If you're like want universal health care, that's what universal health care is about. It's not about health care. They call it health care. It's not about health care. It's about pharmacy care. It's about surgery care. It's about doctor care. It's about medical care. They should not call it health. It's medical. That's what it should. That's how we should be phrasing it. It's medical care, making a distinction between health and medicine that you guys are probably making on this program, even if not consciously. You know what I'm talking about. But most people don't make that distinction. They just assume medicine is health. So we got more doctors, more devices, spending more, and we're the sickest culture in the history of the planet. At the same time, we got all the tools, and we're still sicker than ever before. And all because we're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. We're barking up the wrong tree. We're barking up the tree of medicine when we should be barking up the tree of all the things we can do ourselves. And a lot of it has to do with disempowerment and empowerment. So anyway, the workhorse of the body's endless, self-adjusting, adaptive responses is the cell. It's not the organs. It's not the tissues, it's the cell. They want you focusing on the organs. They want you focusing on the tissues. Nobody has breast cancer, folks. We have breast cell cancer. Nobody has liver disease. We have liver cell disease. It's the cell. We always focus on the organ and the tissue, but it's the cell. The body's made up of two fundamental components, the cell and the stuff that comes out of the cell. Technically, it's called the extracellular stuff, i.e. the extracellular matrix. And it's called the matrix, by the way. Matrix means mother or womb. Because the extracellular matrix, this is so cool, the cell is almost like a baby in a womb relative to the extracellular matrix. So a baby in a womb is a macroscopic example or metaphor for the cell in the extracellular matrix. The extracellular matrix is the womb that feeds the cell. It has the gases and the vitamins and the nutrients and the sugars and all the things the cell needs, just like a womb. And it detoxifies, it cleans out the cell because part of the cell's natural actions, it produces toxins, but also the toxins we give. And there's another really interesting point about the toxins we give intentionally, or we put into the system intentionally. So the extracellular matrix is like a womb. It detoxifies and nourishes like a womb is with a baby. This is the interesting thing, though. The extracellular matrix is the great dumping ground of toxicity that's in the blood, and that is a fundamental point. The extracellular matrix is the great dumping ground of circulatory toxins. When the circulatory toxins when there's too much circulatory toxicity. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side, and we do have an empty board. So now's the time to give us a shout if you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, or if you have a comment or success story. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lots to talk about, though. I was going to read this yesterday about exercise and antioxidants, a winning combination for brain health. This is from the public. PNAS. I don't know what that stands for. PNAS is the medical journal. Where is that? I don't even know what that stands for, but it's called PNAS. Exercise and antioxidants, a winning combination for brain health. Exercise, stimulating things, antioxidants being very interesting. Antioxidants are quenchers. They put out the fire. The most powerful antioxidants are called electrons. We talk about electrons all the time on this program. Electrons are the quintessential antioxidants, and all the famous antioxidants that we know about work via the action of electrons. It's about electrons. Exercise, on the other hand, is about protons. And I don't want to get too in the weeds with chemistry. That's as far as I'll go. Positive charges and negative charges. And the relationship between positive and negative charges is called lightning. That's what lightning is. When a negative charge hits a positive charge in the sky, you get lightning. And there's some really interesting reasons how that happens. The charges separate in clouds. It's very cool chemistry. I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, when the positive hits the negative, you get lightning. Exercise and antioxidants equals lightning, and lightning makes things happen. That's what you're looking to do. You're looking for cellular lightning. Ancient people called it cellular fire. It's really cellular lightning. Fire is kind of similar, actually. It has some similarities. But cellular lightning. And the antioxidants, the electrons, can come in various sources. Fruit, vegetables, and produce are really, that's probably one of their claims to fame, is these antioxidants, because they're constantly bombarded with energy from the sun. So over billions of years, literally, billions of years, they've evolved these electron donating systems, these chemicals that donate electrons. That's what they call them. They say donors. They're called donors. They give up electrons. They give up pieces of electricity to quench the fire. And when that quench happens, you get lightning and things get made, or colors show. And in terms of plants, this quenching effect is involved in the formation of colors, or the perception of colors. It's also involved in how the cell grows, or how the cell does its photosynthesis. Think about it. Photons are powerful energy. There has to be a system in there to turn that photonic energy into something safe. And that's how these electrons work. In the skin, there's a very important connection between protons and electrons that I've been leveraging for many years. Protons are acid. You know how you always hear about acid being, you don't want the body to be acidic and alkalinized. And there was this guy, Robert Young, who wrote several books, The pH Miracle, and all this pH stuff. pH is the measurement of acid, I should say, in the body, is actually a measurement of activity. And the reason it's associated with toxicity is because of too much activity. Too much fire, too much heat. Acid represents heat. Low pH represents heat. Low pH is protons. Low pH is positive charges. Low pH is shortages of energy. Low pH is like a fountain. High pH is like a vacuum cleaner. Low pH is when energy is when cells are being hyped up, and alkaline is when cells are relaxed. Antioxidants, electrons, have a relaxing effect. Antioxidant electrons are also known as negative ions. You can actually get negative ion generators. Negative ions or electrons or antioxidants. It's the same stuff. It's why we want to walk barefoot, because the earth is constantly spewing these electrons, these negative ions, these antioxidants. They come in through your feet. Literally, they come in through your feet, through the bottoms of your feet. Shoes separate us from that. Especially rubber shoes, which act as an electron insulator, completely separating. You can never be totally separated, but separating us to a huge degree. They're insulators. When we walk around in rubber shoes, we completely cut ourselves off from the power of the negative ions coming out through the earth. The ocean is a big sink of negative ions. Why do you think people love the ocean so much? We're going to go on vacation to the beach. Why do we go to the beach? Because the ocean is pouring out negative ions. It's one of the main sources, along with forests. And forests are another place to get negative ions. The wonderful feeling that we get after a rainstorm, or while there's a rainstorm, that's negative ions. You know how that clean, crisp. If you want to know what negative ions do, what antioxidants do, that's what they do. They make things clean and crisp and cool, like walking through cool soil barefoot. Can you feel that coolness, or cool grass? We do that a lot. A lot of people do it, and we might even like it, but we never really focus on it. You feel it's amazing walking barefoot in grass or on soil. What is that about? It's about electrons. Oh, the soil? That's another rich source of electrons. The minerals. This is why minerals are so important. One of the major reasons why minerals are so important. They're delivery systems for electrons. They're electron delivery system, whether they're colloidal minerals or whether they're ionic minerals. They're all charged. This is why you want to use. This is why I put, by the way, these minerals in my skincare products. Because these electrons make perfect skincare ingredients, especially following acid. This is why you want to use electrons after you put glycolic acid. For you guys who are using exfoliators, acid exfoliators, which are wonderful, The bad rap on these things comes because you're getting protons without electrons. You want to make sure you're using electrolytes if possible, or electron donors, like vitamin C, after you use your glycolic. Because the protons go into the cells, that's the acid. Protons are pieces of acid, electrons are pieces of electricity. Okay, that's the best chemistry as I'm going to get. The little pieces of acid, they hype things up. But you need energy to make things happen, and that's where the antioxidants, the electrons, the negative ions, the minerals come in. If you're going to use minerals or vitamin C, which is an electron donor as well, that comes in. So using electrons, using electrolytes, using minerals after you've stimulated the skin is critical. Using electrons after you've stimulated the body is critical. And using electrons, vegetable juices, rich in electrons, walking barefoot or going out and getting sun. Sun, by the way, is rich. It doesn't have electrons, but it gets turned into electrons in your skin. That's another important point. The sun is is one of the main ways we get electrified. We get electrons. Turns out that exercise, using all these strategies after you exercise is, well, according to this article, is good for your brain, but it's also, I can tell you, it's definitely good for your body. Quote, the relationship between exercise and improved cognitive function is established. Likewise, certain dietary supplements, such as DHA, have also shown promise in improving cognition and slowing and halting cognitive decline. Researchers wanted to experiment on what happens when you do both. And authors conclude our findings advance the notion that exercise combined with antioxidants may be an effective non-pharmacological, always look at non-pharmacy here, non-pharmacological strategy for preventing or improving cognitive function and brain health, and for slowing cognitive decline. For you guys who are worried about losing your marbles, about just even losing your memory, not even dementia, but just losing your memory or not being able to cognate as effectively, this is a great strategy. Get in the gym, do some resistance training, and then come home and do your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, loaded with antioxidants and electrons. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got empty board. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Okay, we're back on the bright side. 844-236-6010. Got lines open. Wanted to read you an article here about Humira. This is from Forbes magazine. I don't even know where I put it now. From Forbes magazine, apparently Humira, according to the authors at Forbes magazine, is a toxic drug. Go figure. Who knew? On the article, and this is obviously Forbes magazine. It's not a scientific journal. Headline, but it's great that now lay people are starting to understand. Headline on the toxicity of Humira and other rheumatoid arthritis drugs. Now, this is probably an epiphany to this guy, John LaMattina, who he says apparently covers news on drugs and R&D. This was probably an epiphany, no wake-up call. His first line in the article, all drugs have side effects. That shouldn't be surprising. Well, where have you heard that before? Humira is of a class of drugs. You see these advertised all the time because the margins on them are, I don't even know the word for it. Things that cost a penny get sold ultimately for tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Things that pennies worth of things get turned into thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. And that's why you see these commercials all the time. They're called UMABs. Technically, they're known as monoclonal antibodies, which basically means they shoot down the immune system. The immune system runs on chemistry. And these are chemicals that shoot down the immune system, that kill the chemicals of the immune system. The old drugs were steroid drugs. These UMAB drugs are newfangled steroid drugs. The steroid drugs had, everybody knows about prednisone being a disaster drug, even though it does, obviously it shuts down the immune system. So if you have rheumatoid arthritis, you may like it temporarily. But as far as drugs go, it's on, along with the Fosamaxes and the so-called bisphosphonate osteoporosis drugs, and probably calcium channel blockers and, chemotherapy. It's on the top 10 list of nasty drugs. Methotrexate's on that list too. Prednisone is on the top 10 list of most people's drug toxicity, poisonous drugs, list of poisonous drugs. That is, folks who know. So anyway, they came out with these new ones, these UMABs, and these UMABs work on the chemistry. Instead of just dumbing down the hormone that controls the immune system, cortisol, they go right for the immune system. They target the immune system. The steroid drugs, they targeted cortisol. And by targeting cortisol, it had a secondary effect on shutting down the immune system. So the new modern ones, they go right to the immune system. Now, hello? Why don't we figure out why is the immune system active? What are we doing giving people drugs to shoot down the immune system? They call them immunosuppressive drugs. Who thinks that's a good idea? To immunosuppress. Well, I suppose if you have Crohn's disease and psoriasis and rheumatoid arthritis or ulcerative colitis or some kind of autoimmune problem or whatever, and your immune system is going crazy, I could see why you might think temporarily. This is why this whole universal healthcare thing's a scam. Nobody's going to tell you about your digestive system when you have universal healthcare. Now, you guys listening to this program, and for the next generation maybe, but 2 or 3 or 4 generations down the road, nobody's going to know anything about this stuff. Everybody's going to be using Humira or who knows what kind of drugs they'll have then. Because the model is not going to just voluntarily give up its hegemony, its power, its tyranny, as Benjamin Rush wrote about in the 18th century. The tyranny of the medical model. Can you imagine this? They knew it back then. They saw it coming back then. The tyranny, and medicine was nowhere near as advanced as it is today. There's actually a medical advertising hall of fame. Yes, a medical advertising hall of fame. The guy who invented opium or OxyContin is in there. Sackler, I think his name is. He's in the medical, and he did Valium before, so he's a real big player in this thing. There's a medical that's funny, right? A medical advertising hall of fame for people who could figure out how to get us to take more drugs more effectively without us knowing it. Unbelievable. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-236-6010. Let's go to Japan and say hello to Ria. What's up, Ria? It's all you. Me and you today.
Hi, Pharmacist Ben.
Hey, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about Japan. Why do you live? What's going on in Japan? You're not Japanese, but you live in Japan.
I'm not Japanese. I was born and raised in Japan. So,
Where'd you learn to speak English?
I went to an international school, actually, and then I went to Hawaii for college. So.
Okay. Well, I would never know. I mean, you picked it up really well. You must have been young when you picked it up.
I feel pretty messed up in my English, but that's good to know.
I would never have known that you are born and raised in Japan. So what's going on today, Ria?
Thank you. I have 2 questions, one about nails and another about skin.
Okay.
You know how we get ridges in our nails?
No.
Horizontal or vertical?
You should not have ridges in your nails. That's a sign that something's up. You have ridges?
I have vertical ridges in my nails from
Ria,
the past 3 years, I think.
My dear. Didn't I tell you when I just saw you? You didn't even call me about. Remember we Skyped and you didn't even Skype me about yourself. But I said to you, I just noticed, right?
Yeah.
You don't think that's related to the ridges? I mean, your body is telling you something, girl. Your body is telling you something. Ridges in the nails, are a sign of some good time catabolism. Did you hear me talking about anabolism and catabolism?
Today.
Earlier? Did you hear me talking earlier about that, or did you tune in late?
No, I was trying to call in.
Okay, so here, I talked at the beginning of anabolism and catabolism, building up and breaking down. Okay?
Okay.
Ridges in the nails are a sign of you're on the road of, you're well into catabolism, net catabolism, bottom line catabolism, well into bottom line breakdown. And it usually happens when you're older. You're like 24, 25? How old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh, you're 37.
Nice, right?
I thought you were a kid. Oh, well, you look young.
No.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
So, I thought you were a kid.
I have these ridges for like the past 3 or 4 years.
Not good, girl. Not good. And your skin.
Supplement.
You're not doing something right. And, and we've been going through this. Listen, when you're smart, I've talked to you now numerous times. You're definitely a smart person. And when you don't see things that are that dramatic, that tells me there's ulterior motives. I'm just keeping it real here. Okay? So you got to look at some ulterior motives because it's screaming at you and you're not hearing it. It's screaming at me through the phone and through, the Skype.
And I have a lot of hair loss as well.
Well, hello. Well, you're breaking down, girl, and you're only 37? That's not right.
Yeah.
Your thyroid's, I mean, if you, you can try to treat your thyroid because that's probably probably have major thyroid problems, major.
I went for a thyroid checkup, but everything was normal.
Oh, really? Everything was
My
normal?
hormones were
No,
Yeah,
they should look at, all they got to do is look at your hair and your nails. That's a stupidity of tests. That's thyroid testing is a poster child for the stupidity of diagnostics. It's an icon. If you look up stupidity of diagnostics in the dictionary, it'll have thyroid testing. It's like representative of that because so many people have bodies that are screaming thyroid problems, and they'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, but my thyroid's normal." Now, blood sugars testing is probably right up there too. The point I'm making is the thyroid regulates all these things, and yours is clearly not working. You cannot have these symptoms without a thyroid that's not working correctly. However, you can't just go to the thyroid. That's what a lot of people do. They'll take iodine or get on Synthroid. That's not the strategy. The strategy is to figure out why is your thyroid freaked out. So you know the drill. I've talked about it. It's simple. It's a triangle of disease. The thyroid gets freaked out when the blood sugar system is whacked out, and cortisol, stress. But cortisol and stress are also a function of the blood sugar and the digestive system. So you got cortisol and also estrogen. You know what? I don't want you to get personal or anything, so you don't even have to say anything, but your menstrual cycle's got to be whacked out too. It can't be right.
Actually, they're perfect.
It can't be. You think it's perfect. It can't be. Body has a system, Rhea. Listen to me. I'm not telling you magic or psychic stuff. I'm telling you the body's a system. You can't have nail problems and hair falling out and also have good periods. It's much more likely that you don't know what a good period is. You follow me? I'm not being mean here. I hope you don't hear me. I hope you don't hear me as being mean. I'm not, but it's really important that we start to listen to our symptoms. Our symptoms tell all. And the body is a system. So our symptoms will direct us to the system, and then we can start to tease things apart. So you probably have, I saw the digestive issues. Listen, Bria, you've been telling me that you were allergic to, I think you said you were allergic to air. Or no, you didn't say air, but you said something like that. What did you tell me? What did you tell me? You came up with some crazy thing that you're allergic to. Coffee, I think you said.
Yeah, it's coffee and pork.
Coffee. And so listen, I'm not picking on you, but this is really important because a lot of people are in your position. So you're not seeing something so dramatically that your assessments of your body and what's normal and not normal doesn't matter because you're symptomatic. And that's how we want to start to look at the world, symptomatically. And then that takes us to the systems, the three major systems, the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal system. So
if I started supplementing properly.
It doesn't, no. I don't think I think you're doing something. I think you're putting something in your system. It's that your body is screaming major duress. Major, not minor. Listen, I'm out of time. So why don't you shoot me an email or something or Skype, and I'll give you some personal attention. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. Good to talk to you. And that's it. We're out of time. Have a beautiful, wonderful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.